Now then, people, good afternoon and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well this afternoon. How are things? Please do smash me a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit that notification bell. As always, we're here to talk about the fallout from Daniel Farke's pre-Millwall press conference. I was doing the game tonight as well, which I was looking forward to, Sheffield United versus Bristol City, but I'm unable to do it now because I've got to have my son because his sister's in hospital. She's got appendicitis, got rushed in. So I won't be around tonight. There will be a preview though going up. I would probably say about 9 o'clock. Probably about 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Once I've finished doing this, I'm going to record that preview with a look ahead to Millwall and then obviously tomorrow's game day. We will have watch-alongs, though, just to give you an update, folks, on this week. We will have watch-alongs for West Brom versus Burnley, final word, etc. We'll have watch-along for Leeds versus QPR. And on Sunday, we've got a super EFL Sunday, actually. We've got some games back-to-back on Sunday. That we can get our teeth into, and obviously there'll be Premier League games on at the time as well. But on Sunday, just before the international break, we've got Sheffield United, Sheff Wednesday, so Steel City Derby, Hull West Brom, and Burnley Swansea. So we'll be covering them. So I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, I can't do tonight because I was really looking forward to watching Bristol City get a point against Sheffield United and putting them back in the box a little bit. Happy birthday, of course, to Willie Nonto. Happy birthday to anyone celebrating in the chat. Hope you're all well. Let's get stuck into what's been said on the pre-match presser. We had an update on Isaac Schmidt. We've all been a little bit curious about what's been going on with Isaac Schmidt. I think we sort of got a response today. I don't know how you saw it, heard it, thought about it, but he was asked about Isaac Schmidt, and he said there's a lot of competition in his place. If 3 other fullbacks are chipping in with these performances, it's difficult for him to be involved. Obviously, Sam Byron being that third one and came in and did well on the left back and did even better at right back. He says recently he was struggling with a few illnesses and little niggles that broke his rhythm, and it's impacted him a little bit in training. So he needs to step up to find the consistency and performance level. Then he has more chance to be involved. So clearly not putting in what is required in training. Now, of course, Farke sort of put some bits in there as reasons as to why maybe performance levels have dropped. Few injuries, few illnesses. But it sounds like the training level isn't where it needs to be. You know, isn't where it needs to be. And that's maybe potentially why he's turned to Charlie Crew and to Sam Chambers, because, of course, young lads wanting to get involved will be putting it in 110%. So we definitely need to... I want to see him. I think we all want to see him. Isaac Schmidt will want to play. And that there will be a bit of a rallying cry from the manager to say to him, you know, if you want to be involved, then we need to see more from you in training. That's, you know, that's what I read into that. That's my thought process on it. So yeah, that was Isaac Schmidt. What are your thoughts? Yeah, that's the best way that Evie's put it there in terms of, she said he's thrown down the gauntlet. Thrown down the gauntlet to Isaac Schmidt, in a sense. It's understandable. I mean, a few illnesses, few niggles here and there. He's still, but what he's saying is he's still not then at a level or isn't consistent enough in his performance level for us to pick him, for us to use him, you know. And he finished with, then he has more chance to be involved. So we can talk about, you know, why aren't you using him? See, I don't understand this. What? Well, no, because if his performance levels were of a sufficient level, we would be playing him. We would be using him. So we needed to sign Schmidt. And this is true as well, Brandon. You know, a lot of the fan base want him in now, immediately. What we're waiting for, sell Byron before the game. Get rid of him in January. Crazy. But we can afford him time because he's not our starting fullback. You know, we have Firpo and we have Bogle, and they're top notch at this level. And then obviously we've got Sam Byram, who we've seen at left back and at right back in the last 2 games, and he's been class. So there is no rush, and that's fine, you know? No, Carl, that's not how it works, bro. That's not how it works. You can So you think his performance levels have dropped because we're not playing him? Well, that's on him. Tough shit. You know, so that's crazy. You've got to put in the work. We can't. It's not charity. It's not charity. Well, go. Oh, you know what? You're not putting it in training, so we'll still give you minutes. No, not a chance. You've got to put it up in training. That's the whole point. You know, when I was younger and you used to pay you £2 subs, and if you missed training, you didn't play. You need to have that bit of I don't know what's authority. You need to know that you know, if I don't put it in, I'm not going to play. That's how football works, man. And this is true, Brandon. And we've got him on a 4-year deal. Firpo's only got a year left. What will happen with him? You know, Byron probably won't be here if we stay in the Premier League. So Isaac Schmidt will have a career at Leeds United. It's just we're rushing him. Ryan, he's had a few niggles, few injuries, and his training levels dropped because of that. So Farker wants to see more consistency in training, at which point we can then use him. So, yeah, I think that's, again, throwing it back to Schmidt. Come on, I want to see more from you. On team news overall, there are no fresh injury concerns. So that's a positive. Some late decisions with Bamford and Gelhardt, not really asked, if I'm honest. He says we'll have a final session this afternoon. Both will try and train and we'll take a decision on who's in the squad. So, yeah, look, even if Bamford and Gelhardt don't make it, sorry, I'm not going to be asked. So, yeah, no larger news, Brandon. Nothing on larger. He did speak on Ampadu, though. I'll go to that next. That was a little bit later on, but we can have a chat about Ampadu while we're talking about injuries. So he was asked about his rehab. He said he's working very hard. He's already doing some running on the pitch, and he's ahead of schedule, which is great to hear. He said it's normally realistic for him to arrive back in team training in the middle of December and available for the games at the beginning of January. So we'll probably see him in 2025. He's our captain and a versatile player, and we'd love to have him back in training, but we won't overrush it because it was a serious injury. Let's see how it develops. And I think as well, what's important here, again, we can afford to give him time because of the performances of Rothwell and Tanaka. Now, I don't agree with a lot of the fan base who all of a sudden now think that he shouldn't get back in and stuff. It's wild. But hey-ho, football's about opinions. He did say during his rehab, you have to extend the load from day to day, and there could be a day when there can be a step back. It's too soon to judge. But it looks like 2025, January 2025. There's a lot of games in December. It'd be ideal if he was available there, but it looks like we're going to be January. Glenn says, you believe anything Farker tells you? I have no reason not to believe in. The kid won't hang around if he isn't given a chance. Farker has his favourites. Glenn, we've played 12 games. He's only just come in. If you feel that after 12 games, the kid is saying, I want out of this football club, I think you're on a hiding to nothing, especially when you consider he's had injuries and illnesses. So it's probably not been available for selection for some of them games as well. So let's say for argument's sake, 75% of them he was available for. So you're already cutting down the number there to 9. So 9 games. And you think after 9 games, he goes, oh, yeah, I want a chance. Otherwise, I'm not, I'm going. I mean, what are we doing here? And like Tyler said, he's not even a kid. He's 25 in December. There you go. But agendas will agenda. If you want to have a go at Farker and then, Farker, he's like, blah, 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 blah. It's craziness. He was asked about Byram. Obviously, he's on a 4-year deal, Ryan. 4 years, 4 years. Yeah, and like Matt says, if a player did want out after not being selected for 9 games, then see you later. That's a good point. He was asked about Byram. He said, overall, I was really happy and pleased with both of San's performances. He was asked more, has he stayed to claim to start? And he said, it's not easy to perform at such a level when you're in that rhythm on the left, then the right. He gave us 2 excellent performances. He's chipped in. It's always good when there's competition. Jayden, before his suspension, he was excellent. Junior has also chipped in with so many end products. All 3 are available, and we'll see who we pick. We know who he's going to pick. He's going to pick Bogle, and he's going to pick Firpo. He said, Sam, we have to keep in mind, is sometimes a bit tricky when the turnaround is quick, a la, his fitness and stuff like that. But none of us are expecting or wanting Byram to start. So him being used in that role over the course of the season, for me, is perfect. He's perfect. Big up to Abdul Rahman Al Khalifi. Nice to see you, bro. I haven't seen you for a while. Jamie Farrell says Amps and Rothwell is the better mix. I think it'll be Amps and Tanaka and play Tanaka further forward, mate. We've not seen him in that final phase yet. But as my man Lockie tells us, he can play in every single phase of midfield as a 10, as an 8, and a 6. He's done it all. Lewis, yes, Bamford's still injured. I don't know what's going on there. He's broken, basically. He was asked about Millwall. I'm going to do my preview. I'm a little bit concerned about that game, if you want my honest opinion. I don't think it's going to be easy. I did think it was going to be easy before I started to do my research, and then I'm like, ooh, this is a tough test, and one that will really show where we're at as a squad and a team. If we can come through this test with 3 points, then at this point you're going, okay. Because, like, we know so far under Farker, our kryptonite has been low block, yeah? This will be the lowest and hardest of low blocks we will ever come up against in this division. He's got the most shithouse team, the most shithouse manager, one of the most raucous and difficult places to go. If we can come through this, then don't stop me now. We're winning the Champo. You're having a laugh. Don't stop me now. We're winning the Champo. Rest of the league on notice. Ambulances at 4 Parch. Bamford has snapped his bootlace. There you go. Millwall. Big up to Darren as well. I seen you grab one of the tops from Ananya Garms and he put it on his Instagram. I don't know if you've seen that, Darren. So big up to you, mate, all the way in Thailand. Hope you're doing well. So Millwall, he said they're in red hot form, which they are, folks. They're up to 7th in the league now. He said it's a very tough place to go. They win and they get clean sheets. It's hard to break them down. They're good at set pieces. The win at the weekend does not help us because it's a totally different challenge. This is what this league is about, and it is a big challenge that we have to come up against. He mentioned Jake Cooper, for example, someone I'll be focusing on, set piece. I think he's already got 4 goals this season. Big burly centre-back. Graham Smith said in the presser, the majority of their goals this season have come from set pieces. We cannot afford to give away silly fouls, and please don't give them any corners. How do we do that? Possession of the football. Get an early goal and keep possession of the football. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, in the past, we've complained where we've gone left to right, left to right, left to right. If we got a goal in this game, then manage the game like that. Keep possession of the football. As long as we have possession of the football, you keep them away from our giving them corners. You keep them away from set pieces, you know, and that's important. Connor did a video with a Millwall fan and he's hoping for the win, but thinks 1-1. I could see a draw. I could conceivably see a draw as well. I can't lie. But get a goal early, quell the crowd, keep possession of the football. So even if that is a boring, laborious, we should kill them off game, I don't care. It's about managing football matches. And what we've been able to do, even though we've not won every game, for me this season, we have nullified every single opponent that we've come up against. There's only a few games and a few instances, not full 90s, where that's been scuppered. But the majority of games, whatever plan they've had, we've been able to negate. So if we can get the first goal, we'll be fine. If they get it, then I worry, you know. But as he said, red hot form, different challenge, great at set pieces. He was asked about like the light show. They're doing a light show, which I know a lot of the fans are unhappy about. And I think it was Catherine Hanna says, you know, normally it was a really tough place to go. Now they're doing a light show. Is it as nasty as it used to be? Obviously, they won Family Club of the Year one year. I remember it being on the ticket thinking, are you all right? Went to the game and like, I've been to Millwall a couple of times and they're well like that. Family Club, nice. Used to sing, will you come to Leeds? Will you come to Leeds? Will you? Because obviously after what happened in League One when they smashed all the first buses, they don't travel like they used to anyway. Anyway, not as nasty as it used to be. When you see the games, they are competitive, so there's no complaints. It's why we enjoy this game. As long as it does not cross the line, it's why we love this sport. Both sides try everything. It's going to be a spicy atmosphere. You have to rise to such occasions. We need to be cool in the head with fire in the heart. Almost sounds like a song that. We need to be cool in the head with fire in our hearts. It's an 80s banger, that. I reckon that's an 80s German pop banger that Farkas just quickly got in there. A David Hasselhoff special, who was quite big in Germany and actually sung on the pulling down of the Berlin Wall. He sang on the wall. David Hasselhoff was big in Germany. Like, why? How, what, why, when? Like, not from his acting, from his singing. Like, why? I do not understand this. But yeah, that could be a David Hasselhoff banger of Farkas, that. We need to be cool in the head, fire in the heart. I can see it. But yeah, not as nasty as they used to be. I beg to differ. Just because you could if you put bells and whistles on a shit, it's still a shit, innit? You know what I mean? You can put a light show on, it's still shit. Do you know what I mean? Farker on Aronson. He was asked about Aronson, low-key being one of our best players this season. He said, I think he's been excellent so far. It's always good when a player has a bit of extra motivation to prove his worth, because obviously he came back under a cloud. So he was not happy with the last season he played in the Leeds shirt. Obviously, he was relegated and was beasted. Really, really beasted by Jesse. And it was nice to hear Daniel Farke say like how he wanted to rest him and gave him 20 minutes off, because managers and coaches use this lad a lot because he just runs all day. He's like a Duracell bunny, yeah? So he said you could get the feeling in our initial conversations that he wanted to put it right. And he said there are several things in his game that he can and needs to improve. His work rate, ability to work against the ball, his strengths in order to make any runs with the ball, to set up players with assists and possibility to score goals has been excellent this season. And that is off the ball, counter pressing. He is phenomenal. I don't think him and James are both amazing at that. And they were both amazing in the Premier League at it. Aronson was great at it, although he got beasted, and whenever he got on the ball, he fell over. But from a pressing perspective, he was great. And under Bielsa, Daniel James was amazing at pressing as well, right? Like, that was his MO. Start him in the 9, press, run. Run fast, boy. Run fast! Why are you coming fast, Daniel? Can you not see me? Why are you coming fast? So yeah, he's been excellent this season. He says, last game I was able to give him a rest because he's always in demand for his national team. Every coach plays him. And I think actually Poch will play him. I know a lot of people, listen, the Americans, the USMNTs know more than me, but I think he'll play him just because of that. So he said, I was pleased to give him 25 minutes of rest, which I'm happy about, because we've said about it. Lockie's mentioned it as well, saying, you know, that he hopes he doesn't get overused. So the fact that Farke's actually mentioning it as well means it's at the forefront of his mind to go, I probably could give this lad a rest right now. He says, perhaps he would have another assist or goal if I'd have played him longer. Brendan is a role model, works so hard for the team. What he invests in order to make us compact, to win the ball back in the pressing and counter-pressing, is all about sacrifice. So anyone who wants this guy out of their team or doesn't rate him, please have a look. Big up Abdul Rahman Al Khalifi says, okay, Joe, tough, gritty game, 1-0 written all over it. Nonto finally scores. That would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, the Ryan Kent stuff, I don't know where that's come from, but it's absolute codswallop. He was then asked about set pieces from Graham Smith, as I touched on earlier. They have as many goals from set pieces as they do in open play. He said it's always, Farke said it's always important to be mentally ready for the battle. One of the topics is being ready for the battle to defend crosses and set pieces. It's not easy to defend a player like Cooper, which is Jake Cooper. I think he's got 4 goals because he's so tall. Sometimes you just can't defend. You can't grow inches, can you? You know, unfortunately. Don't we know that, lads? Darren Lee knows that. He says you have to disturb him to stop a free header. It is not easy to defend set pieces against them. The fewer we have to defend, the better. But when we do have them, we have to be ready for that. Strong headers like Pascal and Joe Rodon. Player availability like Byram does make a difference. Oh, sorry. That's wrong. He was asked about Joe Bryan. That was the crux of the question, because Joe Bryan isn't available, and we know how good Joe Bryan's delivery is from when his time at Bristol City, his time at Fulham, and now at Millwall. And he says player availability like Bryan does make a difference, but you cannot relax. So they're not going to have his crosses into the box, which is important for us, from set pieces perspective as well. You know, but yeah, Jake Cooper, definitely one to watch. If anyone's going to score for them, they will score from a set piece, and it will be Jake Cooper. But the fact they don't have Joe Bryan, happy days. Happy days. It's like us losing. I'd love to see. I'd love to see a set piece. It's like us losing Pablo or something, like from a set piece perspective. Not in this team because we don't have a set piece specialist. I guess Rothwell is it now. Farker on scoring first and how we then dominate games, but Millwall are the same. Since February, Millwall, when scoring first, have won 16 and drawn 3. So if they get the first goal, I think Millwall will win. If we get it, I think we will win. But then again, I said a 1-1. I could see either. It's going to be 1-0 us, 1-0 them, or 1-1. Win, lose, or draw. Millwall's going to be tough. But he said, credit to the boys, Leeds United, from the mental side and tactical point of view, when you go into the lead, are really good tactical behaviour and structure against the ball. We know how to be compact, especially when the opponent takes more risks. We know off the ball movement, off the ball defending from Leeds United this season's been exemplary. Controlling games has been exemplary. At times it's been rough to watch, but we're dominating, even without the ball. He says, when there are moments we have to defend a bit deeper, we know what we need to do then. For a team that wants to win something, in an ideal world, some silverware, you need this. The lads are normally excellent when we're in the lead, and we have the players who can be dangerous on the counter-attack, which is another string to our bow, which we know about. Hence why second half in games, if we're 2-0 up, we tend to drop off 10 yards and say, right, okay, we're now going to play on the counter. You come and try break us down. He was asked about Dan James. Dan James got a call back up to the Wales squad. He was asked, will you speak to Bellamy about minutes? He just basically said, no, everyone wants to play for their country. I prefer it if he didn't play 90 minutes in every game. Craig Bellamy's a professional. He'll know how and when to use him. And of course, Bellamy wants to do well for himself. And I agree with that. Listen, at the end of the day, I'd prefer them not to play many minutes, and maybe they won't, but you can't stop someone wanting to play for the country. He was asked as well, have the injuries to Ampadu and Gruev encouraged others to step to the plate? Obviously making a reference to Tanaka and Rothwell. And he said, no, I wouldn't say the injuries were beneficial to us. We have a marathon during the season. You have different spells. We were excellent in the first games. We played Portsmouth off the park. We just missed that cutting edge. I guess it's like there is a narrative that Leeds United are 10 times better now, that this midfield is 10 times better now, but we were still great then. Do you know what I mean? And I just think there's a readiness to say, you can't change it. But we said that when Ampadu went into centre-back. We don't miss Stroud. Ampadu was at centre-back. It's totally fine. Then when the season finished, we probably looked back with hindsight and went, if we'd have had Ampadu in midfield and Stroud at centre-back, it'd have been a totally different kettle of fish. We'd have still gone on that run and maybe maintained it for longer. So I think we need to remember that. As good as this midfield partnership is, I still want to see Ampadu in there alongside Tanaka. I think it'll be even better off the ball and on the ball. Just my opinion. It says, we know we're not perfectly efficient at the start in front of goal. The injuries may have brought our team closer together in adversity. So we have to be concentrated on being more brutal in front of goal. We know that. I can't remember the last time we were clinical. Apart from, I can't remember. We've always struggled. But it can also be a coincidence. Sometimes you need some luck in being brutal. And you could argue against Plymouth, some of the goals were perceived to be lucky. I know we dominated, but the one where Pirro goes for the back heel, it falls onto... I'll tell you where we were lucky. Watford. Definitely lucky. Watford. The goalkeepers threw 2 of them in. Do you know what I mean? If we don't score them, we don't know how that game unfolds. So, yeah. Yeah, interesting. You put Bogle back in for me, Dominic. You put Bogle back in for me. That's something that needs to happen. But it'll be a good game of football. I say a good game of football. It'll be a good, challenging watch. Good, challenging watch. A tough opponent for Leeds United to come up against. I think it'll be 1-0 Leeds. Could see a draw, but I could also see 1-0 Millwall. Yeah. Jake Cooper, Neil Harris. Them's the 2 that I'm nervous about. But listen, I'm going to record my preview to that now, and I'll drop that at about 6 p.m. tonight, and then I'll see you for the watch along tomorrow. That was the press conference. That's all your bits and bats from that. Big news, Schmidt needs to do more in training. Everyone else is fit, bar Bamford and Joffrey. No shocks there. Worried about Millwall from a set pieces, but if we maintain possession of the football, they can't create set pieces, can they? That's the important thing. Get the first goal, keep the football. Sounds simple as pie, doesn't it? I think I should be coach. Anyway, while Jammy's vacuuming the live chat carpet, you smash a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, get your comments in, hit that notification bell. Watch the preview tonight before tonight's games, and I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along. Peace and love, folks. Bye-bye now. Legends. Love.